The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Lankford, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Warren, honored for you to be able to be here. You are a fellow Oklahoman from the 5th District of Oklahoma, and so let me say welcome to you, for being here as well. Let me bounce a couple questions off of you just on some of the structure as it's coming up. You mentioned several times that the authority is coming over July the 21st to the agency from the other agencies, Comptroller of the Currency, FDIC, wherever it may be, for some of these. Do you happen to know, or have you heard, if as that authority is transferring over from that agency is then downsizing as you are ramping up? I know that's not your agency that you're dealing with, but have you heard that they're downsizing to accommodate for the transfer of authority?
Yes, sir, we have. Indeed, there's been if you permit me, there's been a lot of trying to coordinate with these agencies. We've done some recruiting from these agencies. You know, there are some good on-the-ground people who currently work at the Fed.
So there are some people that are downsizing. Those agencies are downsizing as you're ramping up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me follow through on a couple of things. You've had great emphasis on the unregulated businesses, payday lenders. You've mentioned that a couple of times as well. Do you see a difference between engaging with a payday lender and a community bank specifically? I know the big banks get tagged all the time on things. I'm just talking about community banks today when I'm talking about banking. Do you see a difference between payday lenders and community banks as far as regulating them?
Yes, sir, I do.
Will there be a difference in the way the two are handled, in the way that your agency will interact with payday lenders or community banks?
Yes, sir, there will be.
Dodd-Frank has about 100 rules this year that will be added to community banks. So between now and December 31st, they have 100 rules to be able to implement on that. Do you anticipate another series of rules on top of those coming down on community banks from the new Consumer Financial Protection Bureau?
I just want to say on the 100, it's not 100 for the consumer agency. They're
that's what I'm saying. They're already getting 100 from Dodd-Frank, not from you. That's what I'm trying to say. If they're getting 100 already, they're coming down from Dodd-Frank. When you all stand up, will there be more that will be coming to us?
The one that we have teed up right now is this TILA-RESPA combination trying to reduce the paperwork around mortgage origination, something, and I will say to you, sir, because I think it might be relevant. When we first started this process, the idea for us to put that first came from the community banks, and I asked them at many points along the line, I know there have been other changes, I know it costs every time forms are changed. Is this something you want us to go forward with? And they have said yes. We also have, as one of our very early rulemaking obligations, will be around payday lenders, but of course that's not, I should say, not payday lenders, other non-bank lenders other than payday, because payday is automatically covered, the large participant. But of course that's not going to affect the community banks other than how it affects their competitive environment.
The concern is that right now they have a lot of rules that they're trying to put into place. And you know well, community banking, that is not some large bank with a New York headquarters. This is 12 people in a small town in Oklahoma that they're trying to go implement 100 rules and figure out how to do it, and it's very overwhelming. So while the rules come down and say that's not a big rule, it's not the size of each rule, it's the stack of all the rules that are coming down on them. What I'm asking of you is, in the days ahead, will you please make sure that's coordinated, that there's not just saying, oh, we just added 20 new rules to them. At the same time, OCC added 20 and FDIC added 100, and then suddenly they're getting overwhelmed in a small community bank. If you'd make sure those things are coordinated, that would be very helpful to them to be able to continue to have a free flow of credit going on. Let me ask you as well on the way that you'll interact with the banks also. You made a statement that one of my community bankers notified me on Informs Business that there may be an exam every 2 years on the banks from your bureau. Do you anticipate also engaging in as a bank examiner role, not for safety and soundness, but for consumer protection, that there will also be an audit of each bank from your agency?
I'm sorry, sir. That's for the 111 largest financial institutions, not for the community banks.
So community banks should not be concerned on that?
We are not the supervisor for the community banks.
Okay, but as far as engaging and doing auditing and stepping in and being another person that's on the ground for them will not be?
As they have explained to me, they've run out of chairs for that kind of thing.
They absolutely have. They have just about every week they have another auditor that's sitting there, so they might as well leave an office set aside for the Federal Government because there's going to be somebody there the next time. Do you have a concern with the authority that's been given to the specific director to kind of determine products and services that are unfair, that the next director has that same authority to come undo what you do on that?
I think we overstate the power of the director. There's a whole process in place for this that starts with research, that starts with community outreach, that goes into analysis of market, that has cost and benefit. There's a big process in an agency before we get to a place where any rule, whatever it's on, can be issued. As I started to say earlier, just so you get an idea about how this agency functions, half of our entire budget and our FTE will be about supervision and enforcement, supervision of the largest financial institutions and supervision of the non-bank financial institutions, and straightforward enforcing the law. About a quarter will be around consumer education, which we haven't talked about much today, and consumer complaint. And the last quarter has to cover everything else. Writing rules is just one piece of how we can help make this market work better for American families. I've given you our first priorities. That's where we intend to go, and we want to do that in conjunction with community banks all around the country.
Terrific. Thank you.
The gentleman's time has expired.